Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We just had Kharak Cup 8 technically yesterday. Gosh, what time is it? It's just barely 1 AM. That's not so bad. But yeah, as you can see, I've got all the replays here from the tournament, but I just wanted to get into it right away because I know I'm not going to have too much time. Not going to have too much time coming up, and there's a whole lot of games that I'm going to need to cast, so we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to jump into it with a game against Catharsis, if I can find... Yeah, this has got to be the one. Actually, this was from round 1 of the qualifier section, which is a bit unique. Normally what we do is we seed people in the qualifier based on how they performed in previous tournaments, but Mask the Red Death was organizing this time. She chose to do it a little differently and just seed them randomly. And actually, I kind of liked it because there was no bias kind of going into the qualifier section. Anything could happen, so I think it was actually pretty cool. And I ended up playing with Catharsis here in round 1, as you can see. I'm going to be playing as the Galzi, and he will be the Soban. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. As for context, there's not really too much. We're starting the tournament, after all. Myself, I wasn't too worried about this one, but I did know that I could lose, because of course Catharsis is not a bad player at all. He's beaten me before, especially I think that actually was in a qualifier as Soban on Torrent Crater, wasn't it? Oh boy. I didn't even think about that. But, I wasn't too worried going into this match, actually. I figured I would do pretty much just fine. Especially coming off of a win in Kharak Cup number 7, so... we will see if it proves to be true, though, won't we? I'm just doing my normal build, moving out here pretty early. I noticed already, though, Catharsis having 2 guys on RUs here. That's usually the tip-off. We're going to see some kind of a tech rush. Quick drops coming out as well. It's got to be AAVs. I don't really see what else it could be here. Even when getting reassigned onto the CU, so he's definitely looked into this build here. Yeah, 47. Oh, that's a very good quick drop there. Because, of course, what he wants to end up with is 85, and he's going to get 40 when this guy drops off there. Wow. That's nicely done. Because when you quick drop, you're always going to end up with a little bit of inefficiency, but he really managed to minimize it quite well right there, I gotta say. That's pretty cool. Not bad, my friend. Now, I did notice this base burner here, so I'm just going to go over there and try to plink it down just a little bit with one sand skimmer, but I don't want to get baited. I'm going to leave the other ones here on the attack. And what I'm really looking for is to see if he's already got a tech choice, in which case I need to respond to it immediately, see if he has some weak salvagers that I can go after. That's really all I'm looking for at the moment. I'm sure you know the drill, though. I've done this kind of build very often, so you've certainly seen it before. Soban Carrier, by the way, always quite a lot better than you're expecting it hitting sand skimmers right in the very early game, given that it is a railgun, but that's about all it can do. It's quite bad on the defense. You really don't want it to be like your defending force here. I see an opportunity to pick off a couple of LAVs, but actually the carrier's going to get a nice hit on me right there. Going to take me out. And I am seeing AAV fabrication popping up right now. I saw that, of course. I actually can still see it. I have my scanner here on the carrier. A little bit of damage done to this salvager, actually quite a bit, and also to this LAV. And remember, there's no way for Catharsis to heal this until he gets his support cruiser out, so that's actually quite relevant. And it looks like I already want to back away, actually. You see me just picking up an artifact over here, but I know, very well that there are assault ships on the field, so I know that I need to get railguns before too long. So there's railgun fabrication coming down. Now I am going to try to stay active with my units here. You always want to try to stay active with your units if you can. So I'm going to move these 3 sand skimmers up here to the north. See if I can, see if I can find another window to come in. There isn't actually an AAV. Quite wisely, 2 being sent up to the north, 1 being sent over here to this direction. I don't know, man. But the reason I say that's quite wise is that normally when you do an AAV rush, you just want to send everyone straight in there. But if you know your opponent already has sand skimmers up there, you're probably going to expect he'll try to do something like I've just done. And, you want to be ready for him. So that's not a bad move at all. I'm going to get Power Reserve 1 here because actually I have not gotten railgun fabrication finished yet, and those AAVs are coming. Certainly don't want a repeat of last time we played on Torrent Crater, which, as you remember, perhaps was a total mess. as he did actually manage to kill a production cruiser right in the very beginning of the game there. So, but actually with an artifact getting extracted right there, I think Power Reserve 1 was kind of not necessary. So that's a little bit sad, but you know, it'll do. Got a Sand Skimmer here to scout, which is quite nice, but he might end up getting picked off. We'll just have to see. But Railgun Fabrication is finished, and Assault Railgun is about to finish right now. This should not really be an issue for me. I should be able to hold this off quite nicely. Second Production Cruiser, by the way, already out for me. It's interesting that I went for that before Refinery Mode. I can't remember exactly what I was thinking right here, but Catharsis, meanwhile, about to be on 2 bases, so I had better be pretty quick on my eco, but having 2 production cruisers already means I should be able to do just that. His base runner is going to go down, mine stays alive right here. Probably wants to get moving off to the other side though. You can see it's quite backed into the corner right now. These two AVs doing a good job of keeping themselves relevant on the map by moving out there and trying to block the 3rd base, but the Assault Rail should be able to push them all the way back home. You know, I could pick off this LAV right here. Certainly I saw this in the sensors and just kind of moved without thinking, but that would not be a bad trade, all things considered. In fact, having armor 1, I might even be able to back away, heal up, and then kill the second one too, but hard to say. Refinery Mode is finished for me now, so my primary objective here needs to be get my eco up as fast as possible. Catharsis is moving into the mid-game here, getting Railgun Fabrication. We know how powerful the Sylvan can be there. I really want to have as much of an advantage as possible moving into that. Unfortunately, I am going to lose an Assault Railgun here, but now there's 3 ready to capitalize, so that should be just fine. And yeah, like I said, I really just need to focus on not getting caught off guard by these, you know, Sylvan Railguns here. So there's the salvagers that are coming into the base. I should be up on my eco just a little bit faster than him. I'd say him being on second a little faster means we're probably going to be about even here. And that's actually pretty curious, because during the game I thought that I was ahead. Mostly because of what I had seen before the AAV pushed me back out. But no, looking at it, he's actually pretty much equal with me, so that's actually quite interesting to see. Well, it's been a bit of a snoozer so far, mostly just a macro game, but this game is about to get kicked into 12th gear. It's a really exciting one, so you will see what happens next. You can see me getting missile ship fabrication here because I'm against Catharsis. I know, you know, I know what it's like. You can see me here trying to scout out, is my opponent on 3 bases? No, but seeing this salvager here basically tells me he must be on 2, right? So I know that much, and I know I'm on 3. So that, I think, is another reason that I was very confident, thinking like, oh yeah, well certainly I have the base advantage right here. I'm also, you know, getting ready to push in with these Assault Railguns, but there is actually a Sylvan Rail right here, ready to put some hurt down on me once it comes over this dune. Although I'm close enough to damage it, I might just be able to kill it right here. And that's a little messy. He probably shouldn't have lost that one right there. Because one Railgun for one Assault Railgun, I'm very happy with that trade. The Assault Railguns are excellent in the early game, but as the late game comes around, unless you have quite a lot of them, and also heavy Railguns to support, they kind of feel like dead weights, you know what I mean? So I would very much like to trade them. That's definitely in my interest. I'm going to see now he's on 3 bases, not yet on the RUs. That's good information as well. And there you go, fighter and gunship fabrication. That's what I was waiting for. But I've already got anti-air on the field, so that shouldn't be able to catch me off guard at all. Railgun Armor 3 coming out for me, and it's looking like a pretty typical game. One thing to note here is that Catharsis is already on 3 rails, whereas I've got actually exactly none right now as far as heavy railguns are concerned. And I've got to say, playing against these 3v3 players, like, well, I don't know if he's totally a 3v3 player. He plays a lot of 1v1, 2v2 as well, but I think he's more of a 3v3 player. One thing you'll notice about all of them is that they're so good at macroing, you know what I mean? They just, like, they have units, like, for days. You're always wondering, like, how are they managing to do this? It's because they do it so much in 3v3, it's a lot more important in that one. Now you can see I'm ready to go over the dune to avoid getting hit by the railguns, but actually he's going to smoke for me, so that's quite nice. But yeah, you know, he's already got like 6 railguns here, and I'm still on 2, you know what I mean? So here I thought I was very much ahead in this game, but actually it seems as though I'm kind of behind by that metric. So that's one thing that I really have noticed about Catharsis as being, you know, like a particularly very good attribute of his, is that he macros like a champion. It's really hard to catch up with him. So Railgun will get hunted here, but he's kind of out of position. These Sandscammers going to be able to get some shots off on these Railguns right here, but to no avail actually, because they actually already have armor 3, perhaps armor 2. That's, you know, that's quite a bit. I actually missed some action over here. I tried to take some shots at Railguns, but I had to fall back there. I was going to get killed. So not really much has gone down there, but I was able to score another artifact, which has me quite happy. Now I'm starting to get that heavy railgun count out. You can see I've got 6 of them now. Soban now has 7. But I feel like he's got to be stacking... Did he lose a missile ship? And the best caster ever. He must have. Oh yeah, see that's what I was expecting. Look how many CUs he's stacking there. That's kind of crazy. Air unit's gonna come in here, and amazingly the missile ship just doesn't really want to fight, so he's not gonna get a shot off right there. But he is here. Still nice pickup on the assault railgun though. Really big damage done to one of the interceptors here though. And if he's not careful, he could take even more shots here. But this is a very nice fight for him because, I mean, I can't fight back at all. I mean, it's like I'm always saying about Catharsis, you know. Oh, that guy literally like asked for it. He like moved into the shot. I think he would have been killed anyway. Still, that looks pretty funny. But yeah, you know, it's like I'm always saying about Catharsis. Like, if anyone could get value out of air units when there's anti-air on the field already, it's this guy. You know what I mean? Like, he does it. It's amazing how he does it. Really nice use of smoke there. He's managing to traverse this like pretty deadly area that I've set up here without really taking any losses, which is nice. And really narrowly dodging that missile ship barrage is really key for him as well. I'm kind of feeding my units in here piecemeal, but it almost doesn't matter. I'm definitely going to take a convincing railgun fight here, but there's 3 of them back there that I need to be careful of. Still, though, it looks like I've just got the overwhelming majority right now. And I'm just going to try to come in here and capitalize, it looks like. Sandscammer upgrade's coming out for me, by the way, and he definitely doesn't have any for the LAVs, so he's not going to be trying to match Sandscammers with LAVs. And I gotta say, with like AAV railgun being so strong, I don't really see why he would want to anyway. Look at him using this terrain though. Very nice. Like, it's very nicely done. It all seems very neat. So I came out here to assassinate those railguns, but that does mean I've left my anti-air just a little bit. And instantly there he is to capitalize. And like I'm always saying, you know, he knows what he's doing. He's gonna grab 2 railguns for his effort, but he's not even gonna lose a strike fighter because, of course, it takes 3 shots to kill him there. Some of them on very low health here. He probably wants to be careful, and there is anti-air over on my main as well. So, but now look at the railgun count once again for Catharsis. I mean, it seems like I've been trading well this whole time, but I'm actually beginning to fall behind. And it's always a little mysterious to me how exactly this happens, but I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm saying, his macro is very good. It is also true, of course, that heavy railguns are much more expensive, and I've also been making anti-air this whole time, so that probably has a lot to do with it, but at some point here, though, like, I've done so much damage to his railguns, but he's, like, still has more of them, that I just think to myself, like, how does he have these units? Like, I might even said it out loud to Tarn Armor, who, of course, is right next to me the whole time. It's a very nice barrage here, by the way. But yeah, number 1 rule of railgun wars, though, is get targeting the railguns, not the AAVs, so you can see that's what I'm doing here. And he's really feeding in one at a time, which is not good for him. At this point, I still have the numbers on him, so that's got me happy. These AAVs not really being able to do anything because they can't quite close the distance. What he might be able to do is, like, smoke up and get closer, but I'm not really sure what it would even do for him. He really just needs to get the railgun numbers. And at this point, it looks very convincing for me, you know? It looks just totally fine. I've even got my carrier here. I got a siege cruiser on the way. But now look at this. This is really key for him, I think, is that he gets this nice backstab going right here. And I have to pull off my 4th base. And that caught me completely off guard. I didn't see it coming at all, you know what I mean? In this scenario here, I choose to go after the support cruiser first. I think that was a good move. And Catharsis tries to smoke it off here. And here I come. Da-da, 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 da-da. You know, the missile ships, of course. Favorite unit in the game, I'm telling you. Which is probably a bit odd sounding because it's like they're missile ships, man. They're anti-air units. But no, I love these things. Like, their ability is just so fun to use. Yeah, this backstab here taking a surprisingly long amount of time to fix, by the way. And so he's getting a lot of value out of that, and also distracting my attention. I've got to watch, multiple fronts here. Missile ship's moving in, actually, because I'm trying to use a barrage, but I don't have one ready, so that's a little silly. But now this could be huge. I've got a siege cruiser out on the field already. Barrage is coming down in a really nice location. But amazingly, like I was saying earlier, he's got that railgun majority, so suddenly it seems like he's doing fine, you know what I mean? And this is the point, really, where I said to Tarn Armor, like, what's happening? Like, how does he have so many units? Because I was really kind of amazed. But I thought to myself, well, he only has, like, 4 railguns here. I can just step on this with my carrier. I should be okay. But you notice the siege cruiser going down. Those are real expensive units. This backstab here is still not cleaned up. And it's starting to look like a bit of a throw for me. Some more railguns coming in to try and rescue these stricken AAVs. They should actually probably smoke themselves, but because as you can see, like, they're all at very low health, and quite a lot of them will die here until they can get to a support cruiser. Well, maybe not actually. But once I see all these railguns here, I'm gonna think, yeah, I can't fight that. I'm gonna have to leave. If you look at the numbers now, it's 3 heavy railguns against like 6. No, what is that? I can count 8 railguns of his. So I have actually fallen quite significantly behind here, and that's a big deal. So at this point, I think I need to change things up a bit. His backstab was really effective. Perhaps I can go for something like that. Perhaps I can go for more siege and use that to try and counter all these railguns. As you can see, that's going to be the move here. I'm going to make a siege cruiser. But I was definitely a little bit worried here. Air units, once again, as usual, trying to find some targets of value. Space Runner moving in the wrong direction, that's always fun. Yeah, I've figured it out now. And now it looks like Catharsis wants to transition into some LAVs here. And that's got to be a good move. I've had a pretty like a good standing Sandskimmer army this whole time, even though I haven't really been able to get too much done with it. Just because I'm worried about this very thing. So I do still have the numbers for this, but still, transitioning to a different unit type in the middle of a battle is a really big deal. This siege cruiser here is going to pop out in exactly the wrong spot. And that was really kind of heartbreaking for me, like, oh no. But even so, my carrier should be able to push off all of these railguns, and things actually do not look so bad for me right here. Fight once again kind of occurring on multiple fronts at the same time right here, but there's a lot of railguns right there, so I need to be careful not to lose my carrier here. I think I moved the Sandskimmers in to support here, I'm not totally sure. But yeah, you can see me just trying to get out of there for my life. Sandskimmers are going to come flying in here, see if they can help with this fight at all. There's a couple of railguns here, and my thought was if he's targeting my carrier, maybe I can... Like, if he's targeting my carrier, maybe I can, kill him with the railguns. And that actually seems to be rather effective. I'm still not going to win that fight, I don't think, but I've traded amazingly effectively. And with the Sandskimmers in tow as well, I'm actually able to take out basically his whole army. So I'm still rather down about the fact that I lost a siege cruiser right there. But things have gone quite well. And that did nothing. Wow, did you see that? That was kind of odd. But yeah, one missile ship just going to get picked off for naught right there. And that's a big pickup, by the way, because those things are rather expensive. I'm going to use a barrage here just to thinking that he was going to push in that area, and look at the damage. That's actually disgusting. Only 3 of them get out of there alive. That was like one of the best barrages of my life. So I've just done like a double army wipe on him. And yet I'm still not really doing that well in kind of a strange way, because I think of the huge bank that he's built up here. And this is really, that Soban mid-game advantage, is that they have, such a powerful unit composition. But the advantage is going to start slowly swinging into my favor the further into the game as we get. Because that Galzian carrier is going to start playing a bigger and bigger role in these fights. And it already has played quite a big one, I'm sure you saw. But I have the better cruise missile. I have much better, you know, carrier like weapon capacity. So that could start playing a bigger role as we move on. But I do need to be careful with this guy. I've already almost lost him already. So, did I say already like 4 times right there? I think I did. But that's alright. Now this time Catharsis is going to push on the other flank, and look at this number of rail. This is like, oh my gosh. It's like 14 railguns right here. So there's no way I'm going to match railgun production on him. I'm actually not too far behind, but still enough that I'm not happy about it, you know what I mean? I definitely can't, you know, take this fight right here. But if there's a way that I can get around it, that would be obviously the best move for me at this point. I just got another extraction, so that's nice there. I'm on 3 artifacts. This is where it starts getting a little bit hairy for him, as he does need to find kind of a response to this. If that base runner's probe had stayed alive, I'd be able to see this. I think one thing I can improve on is like getting my probe set up a little bit better. But, you know, that'll do for now. I'm gonna get vision on this base runner here, and I'm thinking like, well, if I can get the base runner for free, I want to take that. So in I go. Little do I know that this is coming, and this like massive force here. As you can see, I can see quite a few of them there, so I kind of know that something's coming. But I don't realize it's like this. I saw the little red blip there, so I choose to run away with these guys, which is prudent, to say the least. And I do find quite a few railguns which are sort of caught out of position right there. But I'm going to try to maneuver my army back into position here so that I can help to deal with this. Almost certainly going to lose a production cruiser right here, and this guy quite slow to be leaving as well. Pretty sloppy of me there. And this is really quite sad as well, because I feel like I was on the tipping point in this fight where if I had managed to neutralize this army without losing production cruisers and bases and whatnot, I probably would be in a position to just close the game out right there. But this fight here is still not going to be that bad for me, because the sand skimmers are doing a lot of damage, the siege cruiser is tripping in excellently, and I've also got my carrier here with quite a lot of power who can contribute if he chooses to push past this choke point here. If this siege cruiser stays alive, that would be huge, of course, because that's going to be, you know, really relevant in coming fights. And all of the AAVs crucially choose to chase over here, which allows the sand skimmers to come in there and pick off even more railguns. So Catharsis is going to have to pay for what he got there, but I still think, you know, pushing me off of 2 bases and also killing, I think, 2 production cruisers he got in total, that's got to be worth quite a lot to him. Another artifact picked up here though, and it's not obvious what he's going to do to stop this one. Another barrage comes down, by the way. I have my railguns in position, so I should be able to clean up these AAVs, and I should be able to get back on my bases here. And I'm not really sure where I'm going with these guys. Going for kind of like a great migration of some sort, I suppose, but they really need to not be there. My carrier's going to run up here. And my thought here is that maybe I can do some damage to like logistics modules and whatnot, but actually there's quite a few railguns here, so I choose to back out of that one. I'm not worried really at all about my carrier getting killed by air, but what I really am worried about is the fact that this siege cruiser just popped out in kind of like the worst position possible. But he will get out of there. There is anti-air over there, so he's going to be fine. These guys amazingly actually managed to get out of there. And all of these railguns now are going to try to chase down my carrier. And as you can see, that siege cruiser has taken a lot of damage, but I got two strike fighter kills against Catharsis right there. And a nice barrage going to come down from the siege cruiser also. But that one is also going to go down. And I think that's really just got to be my bad. Especially because that siege cruiser would have been very handy, I'm sure you can imagine, in the fight to come here. Because then I would have 2 of them instead of 1. And actually the number of siege cruisers that I've popped out right in the middle of the fight and lost instantly is kind of ridiculous. That's clearly something that I can, you know, improve on. But basically I was just trying to poke in, see if I could find an area to do some damage, but that was quite ambitious, even without a siege cruiser coming out of the carrier right there. But with one coming out, yeah, that was not really a good move, I'm sure you can see. Catharsis, as always, managing to macro like some kind of a beast. You can see now he's producing 5 strike fighters. So, I mean, I really don't know where he's got all this money coming from, but he's good at what he does, we'll put it that way. I'd like to extract this artifact right here, but tell me if you think that's going to happen anytime soon. Quite a number of railguns in that area. And at this point, I looked at the map, I surveyed, like, what tools do I have to get the job done now? I've got a siege cruiser, about 2 railguns, and not really much capacity to make anything more. So I need to get to Power Reserve 5 about as fast as I can, and I need to get extractions. It's clearly got to be the way to go right here. I start to see that there's a lot of railguns in this area as they start shooting at the sand skimmers, so this is a time that my base runner wants to back away, and he will. And amazingly, I don't actually lose any sand skimmers because there's no AAVs in this area, but then the air units come in to capitalize. They almost take a really bad hit there and could have lost 2 of them at that moment. But look at Catharsis, he's going full wing, you know what I mean? This is like a 3v3 strategy, but he's doing it. And amazingly, he's got the money for this. Like, I don't know where his resources are coming from, but whatever bank that is, I wanna invest, man. Because he's got a lot of railguns, he's got a lot of air. He's got it all. At this point, I realize there's only 5 minutes left in the map, in the match. So I think even though I've got clearly the inferior army here, I can probably do just fine if I can stop his extraction and then manage to, you know, if I can stop his extraction and then manage to hold off for just like 4 more minutes. It's not too long. So I come over here sliding in with my carrier. Base runner has gotten body blocked. He's still queued to go to that extraction zone, but he can't make it, so the carrier is going to successfully body block him here. There's always a danger when your opponent has gone full wing that he could just snipe you with his air units here. It's a good thing that those railguns were not there. And I'm not saying this is a bad move by Catharsis, because obviously it made a lot of sense to be here. He stopped my extraction, which is a bit more important, but good thing for me that they weren't there, because I probably could have lost my carrier right here. Power Reserve 5 is on the way, by the way. Now, there's no anti-air in like a mile of this carrier here, so he needs to get out of there, and he needs to get out of there fast. I'm not going to be able to deal with those missiles from these strike fighters for too long. So there's Power 5 in the healing, which is definitely going to help the survivability. I don't think that's questionable at all. Railgun's now positioning over on that side, and it looks like actually I could extract here if I wanted to. I certainly did not know this in game, of course. I've got no vision on that side of the map at all, but it's true. I could extract here if I wanted to, and that would be actually really spicy, but am I actually going to go for it? Ah, maybe. We'll see. Really important thing here, though, is that I've got the missile barrage ability now, and that could make all the difference in this fight. Two missile ships now back at my base, by the way. And that should be enough to ward off any, you know, air aggression, but he may be able to pick off some railguns if he wants to. Splash damage could be huge here. No, actually, it hits the one that's not with them, so that's unfortunate. So one railgun just kind of mercilessly picked off right there. Comes in for second pass, though, and the longer he stays here, the more damage he's going to take. That one, for instance, did a lot of splash damage right there. He comes in for another pass against 2 missile ships. This could be huge. Ooh. Ew. So I don't think that was worth it to get that last railgun. Although he did get it, but I don't think that was worth it. Now at this point, I know there's no way I'm going to be able to. Fight him with railguns. So I'll just go for more siege. That seems to be the better option. And with as much air as he's got on the field, I want to get more and more missile ships. That's what I end up doing. You can see he's mined out CUs on that side. He's probably pretty close to it on this side too. We're definitely approaching the end game. And just surviving this long gives me a huge advantage against a Soban player. Now I'm gonna try and stop this extraction, but once I see how many railguns are here, that's not gonna be a good option. I think you can tell. And once again, I happen to time this perfectly for exactly when my carrier is about to drop a siege cruiser. You can tell I'm very good with the timing there, right? This time though, I've got an ace up my sleeve, and that's the barrage ability from the carrier. And this is why I hate cruise missiles, basically. As you can see what it's doing here. But my carrier is at very low health. Siege Cruiser Barrage is going to come down as well. And suddenly this army is looking kind of paper thin, as most of the units just got taken out right there. And in fact, I've got direct fire barrage on that missile ship. I probably should have used it. I maybe could even have gotten more value out of that. But now there's only 4 railguns left on that side. And the timer is ticking down. There's only a minute left for him, and I just extracted again. So at this point, in order to win the game, he would have to either kill my carrier right now, which is unlikely because of all the anti-air in this area, or he would need to extract this artifact and pick up another one. Those are his two, not even win conditions, but like survival conditions, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I mean, I just did a serious blow to his army right there, and actually I did manage to cancel that siege cruiser before it popped out, which is very good for me. So, if he even can extract this one in 30 seconds, which I don't think he can, it's not clear that he's going to be in this match. But yeah, I can see now he is just moving straight for that extraction zone, so I'll just go ahead and tell you what happens because I played this game, of course. 15 seconds does not an extraction make on this side. And he's doing everything he can, he's keeping it safe using his air, never mind, but, you know. But there's nothing he's going to be able to do to stop this. And that means the game is going to go in my favor. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the mechanic here, when the game runs out of time, whoever has more artifacts will win, unless, let's see. So if you're holding any amount of artifacts on the map, that counts as 1 to your score as far as like staying in goes. So let's say you're tied 4-4 and you're holding 1 artifact, you won't win. But if you're losing 4-3 and you're holding an artifact, you won't lose either. But if you're losing 4-2, it doesn't matter how many artifacts you're holding, you can only count that as 1 on your score there. So, kind of a complicated mechanic there, and Catharsis seemed a little bit surprised that that happened. And I gotta say, he had the timing on this thing, like, literally perfect. But, you know, I think I would have been able to stop them. Either that or get an extraction of my own. So I think I was actually probably going to win this game anyway, but still, I mean, how close can it get, you know what I'm saying? That was a very good match right there. I was quite pleased with it, obviously, because I won, you know, but also, I was just very happy with how that turned out. And I think Catharsis played exceptionally well. So, you know, what a start to the tournament. I mean, if this is how it begins, this is literally the first match that I played, you know it's going to be a good one. And, don't want to spoil anything, but it gets even better from here, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you again, not tomorrow, because no post on Sundays, you know how it works, but on Monday, probably. And, until then, I'll see you next time. I already said that, but, whatever.